Hi, this is Steve from Office365Mon, and in this video we're going to look at how to configure monitoring the search service in SharePoint Online using Office365Mon. So we'll start from our home page here. If you go into Configure and down here to Office 365 Search Monitoring, and what you'll see when this page comes up is that we can monitor both the query as well as the crawl performance of your Office 365 tenant. So when we monitor the querying, what we're going to do is we're going to let you type in a query for us to use. And then as long as you have one of these boxes checked to monitor different aspects of that query, then we'll go ahead and we'll monitor it and we'll send you notifications as appropriate. So if you don't check any of these boxes, then we're not going to actually monitor the query part of your SharePoint Online tenant for you. In terms of the query, we allow you to use any sort of KQL, keyword query language, that SharePoint Online supports. If you're not sure what KQL is or what the different options are for it, we provide a link for you right here. If you click on that, that takes you to the page in the MSD Insight where it talks to you about all of the different parameters you can use when you're creating some KQL. So by supporting KQL, we allow you to create any of these options that KQL supports when you're creating your query. If you're not sure if your KQL is correct, after you type it in here, then you can just click the test button here, and that'll go ahead and execute your query, and it will tell you how long it took to complete and whether it returned any results. And in this case, it came back almost instantly, and it returned 10 results. And it says the hash of the search results is this long string down here. And here's the reason why we give you the hash of that. Because at Office 365Mon, we don't want to ever have to store any of your customer data, your company data. Your data is your data, and we don't want it. We don't want to have the responsibility to hold on for it and to protect it. And so we go out of our way not to keep it and store it in any ways. So when we do things, though, like letting you know if the search results change from the previous time when we execute a query on your behalf, the way we do that is rather than storing the set of search results we get each time, what we do is when we get a set of search results back, we just create a one-way hash of those set of search results. And a one-way hash means that we have a value that we can use, and because of the way we do it, we know if we encode the same value multiple times that it will return the same value every single time. But if it returns a different value the next time we ran this, then we would know, oh, the set of search results have changed. And so what we do is we store this actual hash rather than the search results itself. And that's how we're able to compare whether or not the search results have changed. So the first thing we do is we just check for long queries, and you decide how long is too long for a query. In this case, we're saying 60 seconds. So if a query takes more than 60 seconds to complete, we'll send out notification. Now, some of the reasons why you may, want to be aware of slow queries, or even when the search results change, or if there's no search results, is because the search service is one of those things with Office 365 where we say the service may be up, but it's not working. And what that means is the SharePoint Online service may be up, for example. We can connect to a site as an example when we're doing monitoring, but if the search service isn't working or is working very poorly, then that's going to impact the end user experience. And it's possible that it could impact it to the extent that the user just thinks the site isn't even working. And the reason for that is because since SharePoint 2013, a lot of the content that comes in the SharePoint site is delivered by search results. Sometimes the menus that are shown on the page can be delivered from a set of search results. So if menus aren't showing up, if a page is coming up blank or parts of it are blank or whatever, then the site may be up and working, but if you're not getting what's actually in there or getting access to everything that's in there, then it's really not working. And that's why we think it's really important to monitor the search service. So one of the ways that that could impact you as well is just if it takes a really long time. So imagine if parts of a page or menus on the site are coming from a set of search results, and in this example, it's taking more than 60 seconds to complete a query, to a user that's just opened up their SharePoint Online site, if it's taking 60 seconds to render, parts of the page or menus or whatever, then it's going to, in all likelihood, appear to them that the site isn't working at all. So you can determine, how long a query should run before it triggers a notification. The other option here is notify me when search results change. So this could be a scenario, for example, if you're building an application that uses the search service. A lot of applications for SharePoint Online do use the search service. And so what folks will do is they'll write a query to retrieve a set of data that's used in their application. And some of those queries, they'll expect to return the same set of results every single time. And if it returns a different set of results or no results at all, which is what these two items are all about, then that would indicate a problem, like your custom applications may not be working for your SharePoint Online site as well. So you have the option here to check these two options as well. If either one of these scenarios occur, then we can send you a notification. When the search results do change, if you want, we can also include the results in the notification when they change. Again, we don't store that anywhere, but we can go ahead and send it out to you. So that's how the query monitoring part of this works. The crawl monitoring requires you to install an app for SharePoint into the site collection that's being monitored. And if you're not sure what site collection is being monitored, then you can just go back here to Configure, Office 365Mon. And what we do is if we scroll down here and we see the SharePoint Online site that this subscription is monitoring, we have it right here. And so that's the same place where we would need to install this app to monitor the crawling in that particular site. So the app itself, if you're in SharePoint, it's in the Office store. You can just search for Office 365Mon to find it. If for some reason you don't have a connection enabled to the Office store, or if you just want to download the app directly from our site, you can do that as well, and then you can install it in your own app catalog. So to do that, you can just click the download package from our site. We'll see the download there, and we can go ahead and let's take a look at that. It's just a zip file. If we open that up, we'll see there's just a .app file in there. So what we can do then is if we're over here in our Office 365 Admin Center, we can come down here and we can go to the Admin Center for SharePoint. And then we would go over here to the Apps tab and then click here for the App Catalog. And that will take us to the app catalog for our particular tenant. Once we get into our app catalog site, then we can take that .app file that we just downloaded from the Office 365Mon site. We can go over here to Apps for SharePoint, and we can just click the Upload button, and then we would select the .app file and upload it. And you can see that's in fact exactly what we've done here. We have this Office 365Mon Search Monitor application. So that's what you would see if you were getting it from the Office store as well. But once we've done all that, then the rest of it, Office 365Mon just takes care of automatically for you. So once you install the app in that site that we're monitoring for you, all you need to do is just check this box. It says Monitor Search Index Freshness. Click the Update button, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take note of that we need to monitor that. We'll also do a check during that process to verify that you've installed the application into the site that we're monitoring and that we can communicate with that site that we're monitoring the crawl in. So if there's any issues with that along the way, then we'll go ahead and notify you about that. So again, you'll get notifications based on whatever you've set up here for the query, and then we'll also have a set of reports for both crawl and query performance as well. So if we go up here into the features, into the advanced reports, we'll see there's a set of reports that are focused on the query and crawl. If we go in here to the recent query latency, this is showing you how long those queries are taking to execute that query, that KQL query that you had in that Configure Search Mon page. And so you can see what the performance is like over time. And it may be For example, certain times of days of the day when queries are taking a long time and your users, may complain about performance during those times. You can find those sorts of issues by looking here in the recent query latency. Same sort of thing with recent crawl latency. You can see how long it's taking on average for these crawls to complete. And you can see there's quite a wide variance here. I mean, this particular one took almost 70 minutes to crawl, and this one down here took like 9 minutes. This one took like 6 minutes. So this is another good indicator of maybe something is going on in your site in terms of the performance may not be the best. In addition to that, it may be that someone uploaded a document and said, hey, I uploaded this document. It's not showing up in the search results yet. Why not? Well, you can go back here and see when, the last crawl was that was completed. And so you'll know, well, if there was a document that was uploaded right here, and this was the last, successful crawl that was completed, we know that that's why it's not showing up yet because in the next crawl hasn't completed successfully in the site yet. So that's sort of the recent query and crawl. We also have daily averages, so you can see what your query performance looks like over time. You'll see there's one really great day in this particular tenant, and all the rest of them are pretty similar in terms of their performance. The crawl latency is another good one. Again, this is kind of interesting, but not uncommon to see variances like this. So on this particular point in time for this tenant, you'll see the crawl performance overall has been fairly consistent and relatively good, just about 5 to 8 minutes each time. But then lately, the last few days, you can see the crawl performance has been much worse. So there may be something going on in my tenant that's going to impact the overall performance of my tenant if we're spending a lot more cycles crawling the content in our tenant. In addition to that, we also have monthly views. And what's nice about these is you can see not only how your performance looks over time from month to month, the average, but also the big blue bar here in the background. What this shows you is the average query latency for all of the customers that Office 365Mon is monitoring, what their query latency is. So you get an idea of what the performance is like in your tenant relative to all of the tenants that we're monitoring the query performance for. And then finally, the same sort of thing with the monthly crawl latency. So when you go in there, again, you'll see this bar down here represents the average for all of our customers that we're monitoring the crawl performance for. And then you'll see what the performance has been like in your particular tenant. And again, here's a great example where, like we saw on some of those daily query totals, we can see the totals historically for all these various months have been fairly consistent in sort of the 5, 6, 7, 8 minute range. But then we see that there in March, the current month, that the performance all of a sudden has gotten a lot worse. So again, that may manifest itself in things like users saying, hey, why aren't documents showing up? Or the performance, of the sites, my sites that I'm using seem slow. And it could be that we're, burning more time doing these crawls. So that's a look at what the search monitoring features are like in Office 365 Mon.